Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. My special guest, Jess Weixler. She plays Arlene in the new film Wayward. It's streaming this Friday. You can get it everywhere: Apple TV, Google Plus, and Amazon. And really, like, here's your weekend. Like you're going to see one movie this weekend. See this. You will not be disappointed. And I'd love to hear what you think about it. You can email me at Jeremiah at the Jeremiah Show, or on any of Instant Messenger, any of the socials at the same handle. So welcome back, Jess. Colleen Camp
Hmm.
is a producer and a veteran actress known for her work in films such as American Hustle, great one, Clue, Election, and Apocalypse Now, has built a reputation as a champion of independent cinema. With decades of experience in front of and behind the camera, she has supported bold storytelling and emerging filmmakers. As both an actress and executive producer on Wayward, she expressed her enthusiasm this way. Jacqueline Froelic's film Wayward is a powerful example of why independent filmmaking matters. It's compelling and deeply personal. Supporting independent films and authentic storytelling is vital to the well being and success of our industry, and I'm honored to be a part of this film and excited for audiences to discover it. Well said, as am I. So, my special guest today, again, is award winning actress Jess Weixler. She plays Arlene in the film we're talking about, Wayward. And so, if you're just joining us, here's the storyline for Wayward. An 11-year-old girl en route to Los Angeles with her mother becomes enamored with a charismatic female hitchhiker, forming an unlikely bond that tests maternal ties. Sometimes getting lost is the only way out. Jess attended the Walden Theater Conservatory program to prepare for a life in the arts. She was also in the River City Players acting group and the Chamber Singers choral group. Moving into filmmaking, she played Don O'Keefe in the comedy horror film Teeth and Jordan and the comedy The Big Bad Swim. In 2013, she joined the cast of CBS The Good Wife, playing investigator Robin Burdine. And that same year, she appeared in The Disappearance of Eleanor Rigby as the character's sister. Then the part was written specifically for Jess. She's also appeared in one of my favorites, the TV series Law and Order Criminal Intent. In January 2009, New York Magazine named her the new Indie Queen of the Year and one of the 14 New Yorkers you need to know. Who are the other 13? I'm curious. Welcome back, Jess.
Hi.
Hi. Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, SAG-AFTRA, has around 160,000 members currently. However, only a small percentage earn a full-time income from acting. Estimates suggest that only about 2% of actors can make a living solely from acting. The chances of becoming a household name or an A-list actor are even slimmer, with fewer than 1% reaching that level. Jess didn't listen to any of the stats, and good for you. You've already had a long career in Hollywood, and few actors can say that. So, congratulations. Um, how do you feel just about those odds, and how do you think that you are beating those odds?
Oh, this is a
You don't want to jinx
this
it, do
is a
you?
very layered discussion amongst me and my friends who are I have so many friends who are so talented and working actors, and to say we're making a living is a bit on the edge right now. It's
Yeah, it's tough right now, isn't it?
strikes happened for a reason, and it's been even harder since the strikes. a bunch of my friends have been saying that, like, back when a decade ago, you had a quote and your next job was always at that quote or higher. But I would say probably for the last 6 years, me and all my friends, the quote is less for every job than the last. I don't know what exactly is happening, but everybody's doing it because they love it.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with it and it's what they love. But as a business, it is pretty hard out there.
It seems like what happened after the strikes, as you said, a lot of it was necessary, but then it also mess it messed with the system, and almost like streaming did for the music industry, a few years back. I interview a lot of musicians, and a lot of them are gigging now at small little, big names at small little clubs that seat 50 people, and they fill half of that, and um, but they just love it. They're just going to do it because they love it. They're making half a cent on a stream, whereas they can't sell albums any longer. It's all about merchandise and touring, and I feel like that's somewhat what's happening in film and TV. And but I see it seems there's more out there. There's more. I can't even keep up with what, there's a new series every
I think
day
there's been more out there that's still coming out from before.
before. Mm.
Yeah. I think a lot less is being made right now.
It
And
used to
at
be about
least in
100
the
movies a
last
year,
two
right?
years. Huh?
Wasn't for many years, for most of the years in Hollywood, is about 100 really good movies, or 100 movies a year that the studios put out, and or at least that's what they taught us in film school. But
Yeah. Yeah, but I do think that there maybe was I mean, now I'm just guessing what's going on behind closed doors with the Wizard of Oz that are these streamers, but I, I think they made too much probably before 3 years ago. For a few years there were just so many shows getting made. And now it's so much less that they only seem to be making like their flagship shows.
mm, mm.
I hope it comes back and finds a place in the middle. Uh, but
It's interesting to hear your perspective. Well,
yeah,
did you
I can't
know?
even get into it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I hope it comes back. I mean, you deserve, to make a living for what you do, and we enjoy what you do. So, yeah, I think things are shaking out. They're with the streamers and all the different streaming studios and apps and all that, trying to figure out how to navigate all that. I bet is very complicated on both sides, but
I do think recently more low budget indie movies are getting made again because people have started to just go, we're just going to make it. We're just going to make it. And if it's going to be for $500,000 or less, we want to just make it. But then like with this movie or any others, I think the trick is how it winds up on a platform where it pops up as recommended to people if they aren't seeking it out. If they haven't listened to your show, I don't know how a lot of the indie movies get seen. Which is, I would say also probably 15 years ago, indie movies were more in the limelight. Then now it's again like a few, there's a handful that get a bunch of press, but a lot just really get lost in the depth of the streaming world.
yeah, you're right. When I I flip through the different streaming channels now, things are popping up. When did that come out? Then I'll look at it come out 3 years ago. They're just putting it across the screen, and I mean, you'd really have to know what you're looking for to find most stuff these days.
I also kind of wind up clicking on what's recommended to me.
You're right.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
What what parts of your personality, Jess, make you perfect for living a life in the arts, the life that you chose in the arts? What about your personality makes it a perfect fit?
I'm going to try to phrase this positively.
Please do. Love
Uh,
yourself. Don't be mean to yourself. I want
yeah,
to only hear good stuff about you.
yeah, okay. Um, I think I'm very adaptive. I grew up, okay, just to sort of reflect back on the movie as well. I grew up mostly with my dad. My mom was in and out of my life, and I moved a lot to a lot of different like houses and schools, and I think I became really flexible. Um, and if something didn't work out, I just had to rebuild. And it's the greatest skill for my life now, because what be it with projects where you build a whole world and you commit to it, and then you do have to let it go. I mean, there's this writing on water feeling to falling in love with the character that you're playing and the people you're doing it with, and then stepping out of it and going back to your own life. That happens in a that it there's it just it's still a good it's a good feeling to know you can have something deeply without having to hold on to it for forever.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And I also, now that I'm writing more and developing more, just the when something starts to get put together and then a piece falls out and then you have to put it back together again and then you have to build it again, that the feeling of this structure you're built like Jenga, that when it falls, there's something I think good about my skill set that I pretty quickly get excited to rebuild. I like building. So the time I spend going like, oh my God, I spent 3 years building this thing. I I can pretty quickly enjoy rebuilding. And that really works for this industry, because I just like to play. I mean, I would like more of my buildings to stay up, but
I think all the things that you've built are standing up pretty well. They're there. We can
there's a good
enjoy
number.
them. Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you say, I hadn't thought about that before, but you get to explore, you get to go deep with your character, what they're facing, and really feel it, and then get rid of it consciously in a way. That's an interesting thought to me that you do that you have that option. Does that help you deal with other things in real life for you that are challenges or that you have to go deep, but does it give you a different perspective? Like I can get through this too, I can work through this.
Yeah, I think it's made me less afraid of feeling deeply, less afraid of getting deeply hurt even, or if, with
Mm-hmm.
life stuff or relationships or anything that is uncomfortable to go through between acting and acting classes. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but my acting guru, acting coach that I've been so attached to since I was 24, um, died this year. And
I'm sorry.
the idea of being able to exist in an uncomfortable place, to be able to just be in a place sometimes that doesn't feel great, or you feel like you're in the dark, and keep moving through it and not sort of judge the feeling or trying to get yourself out of the feeling has become empowering to me. Being able to like withstand discomfort in life and as an artist, there's a kind of superpower to what it makes you just I can experience more with the people I'm with. I feel like I'm controlling the experiences less, controlling myself
Mm-hmm.
less, and learning more from the other people when I'm not trying to get myself out of an uncomfortable situation.
Mm.
And it's like human nature to try to get yourself out of uncomfortable situations. But I do get a lot from withstanding it.
When you're going through your daily life and challenges come up and life comes up and presents itself in different ways, is it part of your, uh, I guess, part of your process to notice those things and feel them so that you remember them and you can call on them if a character is has experienced something that you've experienced? Do you do you look
I
at
think
life
it's
that way?
ongoing all the time. I mean, I think it's sort of like it's just because I don't sort of like recall moments, but things just sort of like unconsciously pop up,
They come back.
come back if it's a close enough experience. But yeah, yeah.
Jess, do you ever think that your performances compare to like when you hear a good song, people hear a good song and then and almost everybody relates to it, or the way one of those really great songs will do for you that it helps you in some way.
Mm.
Um, do you ever think of your performances are out there and some of them are helping someone understand
I
themselves
hope
better through
so.
your
I
performance?
would want nothing more than that because I know for me, the things I've watched where I'm deeply moved or affected by somebody else. Oh, what was I watching? I mean, it, just I've felt like I'm less alone
Mm-hmm.
and I watch somebody else go through something and express something that is
Human
albeit
and yeah.
similar, but just I was watching the show As We See It, which is like these three roommates with autism. I don't have autism. Nobody in my family has autism, but there's enough stuff about the way the family has to deal with these kids that just they somebody said something, oh god, I wish I could remember the phrase, and I was like, oh my god, my life is so much better for having just heard that
Yeah.
and having just watched that father talk to his son in a way where he's like tells his son he made him a better person and thanking his son even though he's been through so much hardship with him. it
Mm.
it yeah, I mean, I do love it when like I'm watching a show or an actor and like the catharsis of just like bursting out into tears, like that's so beautiful.
I think you did that. You accomplished that again with Wayward, and as we that opening scene that we talked about, you set that up so well that it made that the rest of the film worked. Um, I dated a single mom once, and so and she did what your character did. She was always looking for. She had two daughters and trying to find someone, for them, and I watched them go through the same thing that Cleo did in the
Mhm.
film, where it's just the guards up and they're suspicious and Like, why are you doing this to me? And, I don't care about this new guy. I was that guy in a relationship. And that's why I think when I saw that, you captured it so well because I'd seen it and I'd experienced it, not as the single mom, but as the guy taking the kids to
Well,
the Laker
none
game.
of those people want to feel alone. Like,
Yeah.
mom doesn't want to feel alone. The boyfriend doesn't want to feel left out and alone. The kid doesn't want to feel alone. Like,
Yeah. It's so good. But there are, that's what's so great about what you do. And some of your choices in films and your characters have offered that. I think there are people out there that your viewers that watch that. That must be a very cool. I don't know. I just wondered if you'd thought about it because I was thinking about it for you that it must be cool knowing that there's someone sitting there, being moved by a
it's my
performance and by,
greatest hope that
yeah.
that it
Well, you've done it. I'll tell you, you accomplished it. Do you think there's an overall career arc to your character choices?
no.
No. And I
Mm.
know you even this is part of the quotables out there in Brainy quotes that you said how much you loved watching film, but thought that was maybe a boring thing to say. And I disagree totally. I mean, I remember my first film and the feeling when those lights went down and the sound came up and the whole experience of a film is just so magical, especially that first one. What was your first film that really captured you like that, or one of your first?
That I saw?
Yeah, that you saw. Do you remember that? Do you remember going to a theater as a little girl and sitting down and watching something that just blew you away? And
It's ridiculous because my earliest point of the theater is like The Little Mermaid, and
that's
we're
all right.
talking
Mine was
about a
Star
cartoon
Wars.
now that's doesn't age well. Ways about losing your voice and a guy falling in love with you even when you can't talk and all these things. But it has more. ah, I'm thinking of high school. Okay, even the most mainstream movie, Titanic.
Hmm.
I and The Matrix. Oh man, I remember
Yeah.
seeing The Matrix in high school, and I was like, movies change the world. I was like, movies change
Yeah.
brain. You can imagine anything. Like even with Titanic or The Matrix, they are not at all in the same category. But I was like, I completely transported to another world and imagined being in situations that are so outside of my normal life. And it's beautiful and incredible. And love is so powerful. Yeah, I, I definitely like, I think so many people who go into it and keep doing it, even though they're not getting paid. There's just nothing as great as a great movie to me because
You
it's
know, it's
and film combined.
it's like the way you described it. It's like when you're a child, you imagine things and you play and um, you keep dreaming of things and your imagination goes wild. But as you grow and get older, that starts to go away, and movies bring that back, don't they? You know,
That's a
they
really good way
bring
of, yeah,
bring
that's a
that.
good way of putting it. Your imagination is, yeah, you don't play as much make believe as you get older, and this lets you do it.
Yeah. It's funny, the Matrix you mentioned. I used to work, and I know you used to be a waitress, and I saw that you were a bus girl. I love that. That's a hard job. I used to work at a restaurant, and Keanu Reeves would come in and sit at the bar, and we had, a bar with a mirror behind it, and he would eat lunch, but he would practice his Matrix moves in the mirror for like an hour. He would come in 3, 4 times a week, and he
In
would do that
public?
in public, and we all went, "Wow, that is so weird." But he was
Yeah.
practicing for his Matrix moves, and that's
I love it. That is an actor right there. Just like,
yes, he just
I
didn't
don't
care
care
who
if
was
everybody
around
thinks
him.
I'm a weirdo. It's so he must have said to himself, being in public is going to make me even better at this because
Something,
I
right?
won't be
I mean, why would you make
self-conscious
that?
about it.
Yeah, like something there must have been method to to why he did that there at a bar in the mirror, like instead of at his own house with a mirror. What, something in public. I hadn't thought about that, but
As an
there
actor
must
for
be some
years, I'm like, maybe he was trying to like make this reality disappear, like all the people, like this world
interesting.
doesn't exist. I don't know, but I'm
That's
sure there's a
interesting.
real reason.
I'm glad I brought it up because now I have a whole new perspective on that. I just thought it was weird, and I didn't want to say that about it because I love him. I don't want to think he was doing something weird, but no, I think you've got it. Well, it says when you were in LA, you like to surf. Here's another quote from you. You went through a phase. I was surfing 4 days a week. I'm still not good at it. I still spend most of my time falling.
Uh, I never got better. I don't surf anymore because I have children and it's time consuming and in the mornings that I was never good. But I would always say to myself, even when I just got on the board and was like paddling out, I was like, I'm surfing right now. You're already
Hey,
surfing.
you're surfing more than I've ever surfed. I did the same thing, and I don't. But I think I was on a boogie board. That's you surfed. I'm with you. If you need a backup or confirmation, anybody questions your surfing, I'm there for you.
Did it.
You surfed. You did it. So I thought this was interesting. You've been an actor in LA. You've been an actor in New York and multiple places. But the two major, on each coast, the two major acting, entertainment capitals of the world, if you will. You've been an actor there. And I started thinking about your days in LA as an actor and your days in New York as an actor. What are the major differences between LA actors and New York actors? Is it the
Well, I
theater
probably
ad?
shouldn't generalize, but my experience of being a New York actor, aside from the fact that I was mostly in my 20s, then you're just out of your house all the time in New York because you live in a
Mm-hmm.
shoebox. And I remember feeling so in the thick of where it was at. Almost nowhere else mattered. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have space in your brain to think about anything but life in New York. And everybody was trained. Everybody took pride in being trained and going to different graduate schools and taking classes and putting things on their feet and doing readings and improv and workshops. It was just such a community. I do feel like it's much harder to have a community in LA. It's much harder for everybody to get to each other in LA. People aren't doing I didn't find as many group activities in LA. And so even after I left New York, I still stayed connected to my acting group and acting class from New York, the teacher I was talking about that died this year. Um, I still stayed on Zoom with that group because it was where I found my community, was the New York world.
Would you like to dedicate this episode to that teacher in their memory?
Yeah, I I I would like to dedicate so much of my career to
What's
my teacher,
what's your teacher's name?
Alan Savage.
Alan Savage.
Alan Savage.
Well, thank you, Alan Savage, for all that you did for Jess Wexler, and we get to enjoy that. We're going to take another quick break here. My special guest is Jess Wexler. She plays Arlene in the film Wayward. Wayward's available for streaming this Friday, April 4th. You can watch it, stream it on Apple TV, Google Plus, and Amazon. You go to waywardfilm.com. On Instagram, wayward underscore the film. Follow Jess Wexler on Instagram at Jess Wexler, JessWeixler. And again, I want to mention the list of films that Jess is in are must sees and on should be on your list of films to watch after Wayward. Go to IMDb, Jess Wexler, and on X, Jex underscore Wexler. You can also listen to my past interview with the director and the writer of Wayward, Jacqueline Froelich. That is on season 17, episode 8. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more Jex Jess Weixler. It's a tongue twister.
Wessler.
Jess Weixler. I knew I was going to do that one time at least. We'll be right back.